and dive in. Before we dive into what it means to become your own DEX, let's talk about what are the current problems existing with exchanges in crypto. When you use crypto exchanges right now, you are facing with high slippage, low capital efficiency, and really horrible user experience. And even if you say you are a genius, you are able to figure out all those problems by yourself, you still have the potential risk of losing all your assets just because your favorite third-party exchanges decided to rug you all of a sudden. You guys all know what I'm talking about, right? We have seen plenty of those last year or this year. So with all those problems being said, you may ask me, do we have a current solution that will be able to tackle all those problems right now? The answer is yes. This is exactly the reasons why or what we are building at Native. And now I'm going to walk you through what we believe it means to become your own DEX from a native perspective. Number one, to become your own DEX, your DEX need to be decentralized and non-custodial. Non-custodial means that your asset custody should be completely segregated from the swapping functions. Second, you need to be able to control the look and feels of your own exchange. You need to be able to choose and adapt to different pricing models if needed. For your liquidity pools, you can choose what are the transaction fees that you want to charge for your transactions. And essentially, you get to decide how you want to list different tokens within your own decentralized exchange. And now, after we know the two core philosophies of what it means to become your own DEX, let's talk about what are the core benefits of using Native to become your own DEX. First, security. Oops. I think we don't need an introduction for all those three people on the screen, right? They are almost everywhere headlines, like over the last year or even recently. So when you use native technology to become your own DEX, essentially you are taking control of your own risk management of your assets. You don't need to worry about, you don't need to trust a third-party exchange or another person who might misappropriate your assets. And Native is also helping you to adopt different risk management features if needed. So it's full control by the project team. Second, capital efficiency. So at Native, we believe that there is no one-fit-all pricing model for every single project or tokens in the crypto space. Because really it depends on how mature, what stage your token is at, the market condition, how you want to manage your token. So essentially, what we are building here, using native technology, the project team will be able to choose and adapt to different pricing models anytime, anywhere, very easily with just a bunch of clicks. They don't even need to redeploy their liquidity pools. And at Native, we are... Can we check the microphone? Hello?
Good. Yeah, I think we're good.
So good. You can hear me? Okay, that's good. I will continue. So at Native, we are not only powering those very popular AMM models such as Uniswap V2, V3, we're also powering professional market-making pricing models. So it really depends on the project's choice, right? What they think that fits best with their token, like what's the best pricing model for them under different market conditions, depending on their needs. And in that way, the project team can adjust and choose different pricing models to optimize their capital efficiency. Number third is user experience. So usually, right now, most of the transactions are happening on a third-party exchange, right? Even, let's say you're a gamified project, you're a social app project, your user want to buy your token. But then they still need to switch. They need to probably make at least 10 clicks to go to Uniswap, to go to Binance, no matter it's centralized or decentralized exchange. But when the project team use native technology to become their own DEX, the swapping widget is directly integrated into the project's interface, no matter it's a website or application. So there's no friction point between your users and your project and the transaction function. That means the user experience is seamless. And essentially, you can increase your user retention to the maximum. You also control how it looks and feels. And we don't want to be the obstacle between your users and your community. Number 4, revenue. In simpler terms, when the project decides to become their own DEX, they are able to collect their own transaction fees as an additional revenue stream. So on the right-hand side, several months ago, StepM launched their own DEX. It's called Doer. And on the graph, it's showing the accumulating transaction fee they are able to collect. So even during the most bearish days, they were able to collect over $1 million in transaction fee over a month. And think about the bullish days. Easily they can collect over $1 million every day. And if you apply this to your own project, that means you are able to generate just another additional revenue stream. If you want to say, I don't need additional money, then that's your choice. But I think most of people are going to say yes. Once you can collect that money into your own treasury, you can use it for additional product development. You can contribute it back to your community, whatever you want. It's a bullish case for both the project team as well as the community. Now that we have addressed what it means to become your own DEX, as well as what are the core benefits of using native to become your own DEX, I will hand the microphone to John to talk about how to become your own DEX using native within 5 minutes.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. So it's 3:20. By 3:25, what we're going to do is basically set up our own DEX. It'll be live on testnet, and then we'll embed it into a website, and it'll be owned only by us. Only we're the ones who control it, change things, and tweak things. So let's see if we can do that. Pretty simple. You start out by clicking Create a Pool, connect your wallet, and I'll use this new one that I created. This is basically when we link your unique API key that's generated for every new user, link that to your wallet, and basically establish ownership, the ability to log in and control and edit and all that. Okay, so we've done that. Now what we do is we set up our test pool. So we'll call it Clock Tower. Hit next. So we name it. We pick the pair. Let's do DAI and Ether. Create a DAI and Ether swap. And now this is sort of what Meina was talking about. This is when we pick the pricing model and the fees. And the benefit of this is it's not one size fits all. It's kind of the status quo. Is it forces everybody to use one pricing model, which is not always the most efficient. Our philosophy is leave those decisions up to projects and communities. Let them pick what's best for them. So there's 3 here: Uniswap V2, which is constant product, constant sum, fixed price. But native is super modular, right? So this is sky's the limit in terms of pricing model you can do. Concentrated liquidity is coming in a week or 2. Bonding curves as well. And if you wanted to, you can even plug in professional market makers RFQ model and do an RFQ-driven swap. So it really can be anything. You can also control the fees, the swap fees. Make it 0. We'll make it 5 bips, and we'll send these fees. These are going straight to our wallet. So that cost center of swap fees transforms into a source of revenue. Like Meina said, for some projects that can be really significant. Okay, so we've set that. This all looks good. Now we confirm it and we put it on chain. Right, so these were 4 transactions. I think we're going to make time. The RPCs can be a little slow, so we'll see. But what we're doing there is we create the pool. Next, we set the router. And then steps 3 and 4 are interesting, so I'll talk about that for a second. We don't have a custodial smart contract in this situation where you deposit into it. It's actually just the treasury wallet or the liquidity wallet, the same one that you use to log in. You just provide an allowance, right? So it doesn't have to be all the tokens in your wallet, so this opens up some really good risk management potential. You set that allowance, then the native smart contracts can tap into that. Users effectively trade directly with your wallet. So as soon as we get through these, we'll test this out live, and we'll be done. So if there's questions in the meantime, we can squeeze one in. Okay, one allowance there. Now we just have to provide the ETH allowance. By the way, anybody can do this. If you go to native.org, click demo, we'll airdrop you all the testnet tokens you need to set this up on your own. Okay. Last allowance. All right. Okay, we're done. Exchange is live. So we'll preview that. And we can swap directly with this. I have to change wallets because you can't swap with yourself. Right now, this is logged in liquidity providing wallet. And if you copy this code here, you paste that into a virtual environment for your HTML code, you'll be able to trade with this live. So if you have a website, regardless of what it is, you do it on your personal blog, you paste this widget in, and you can trade with your own wallet, your own exchange right now. This is 324. That was 4 minutes. So there you go, 4 minutes to be your own DEX. We can do questions now. Anybody have any questions or things you'd like to see?
What incentivizes users to, right? So like if I have my DEX, what incentivizes users to use me as a DEX versus Uniswap or SushiSwap or Banking or any other swap?
It's a great question. So the question is, why use this? Why use the project-owned DEX for app XYZ versus any of the other DEXs out there? I think our philosophy is if crypto is going to go mainstream, it's going to have another billion users. Those billion are going to come for apps rather than to be degen traders. We don't scale by creating a billion new day traders on PancakeSwap, Uniswap. It's Facebook is what brought my parents to the internet, right? Not app layer. And so we think that embedding this stuff in the app layer, that's where the user loyalty is going to be. So if I'm loyal to XYZ app, I'd rather trade with them than go somewhere else to do it.
If I'm the user, right now, if I want to buy a token, I need to look up, the projects. Oh, is this the right contract address? Is this right? There are a bunch of steps, but if I can swap directly within my favorite website or app, then I don't need to worry about, this is the wrong contract address. And another thing is that, because we are offering so many different pricing models, as I mentioned, professional market making price models. So essentially, users are getting lower slippage and better pricing. And then this is in our product roadmap is a router. So essentially, users are also benefiting from using us because they are getting better price. If you use Uniswap V2 or V3, but you just Uniswap to buy the tokens, you still get slippage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you cannot get the same price that can be comparable to the centralized exchange, for example, Binance. So that's why a lot of users are still using centralized exchange because they think they get better pricing. But for us, it's a combination of the better pricing, but also more decentralized.
What does native get out of this?
You mean how we make money?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So we make money from different parties, right? We do a revenue share with the project team. We don't charge product fees. So any projects can just use us to launch their own DEX for free. And they can even enjoy sort of free market making if they just turn on the FM model that we have. But then we charge market makers because they are making money from our volumes. And then when the project team, they get a transaction fees, right? Because they are earning that transaction fee, well, we might tax them a little bit. But that will be decided over the long term. And we will definitely make sure the tax is lower than every single DeFi protocol out there, because we don't want that to be an obstacle from the project team or the users to adopt us. So that means our volume going to support, it will be very sustainable, and then we will have sustainable revenue.
Appreciate the questions. Yeah, great. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Cool. Anyone else?
Anyone else?
Otherwise, I think we're good.
Yes, that's fair. So basically, we have our own token. It's not radio things for a website.
Yeah.
Instead of making my users go to small prices.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I usually do. So with this, just quicker, right?
Yeah, it's quicker, it's better.
Yeah. 0 cents. No, it's much better. Yeah, zero cents, right?
Yeah, because they don't need to go anywhere else. Like I said.
Their tokens on the platform. Yeah.
Yeah, and because like we are partnering with market makers, so we can even support majors. Like you don't have to deploy tokens into it. We support the major exchanges. Yeah. Yeah. Syncofest is Shopify. Okay. If there's no more questions, thank you for joining today. We're gonna keep playing our demo on the screen, and then we're probably gonna do another session on the 3rd.
Yeah. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.